Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. So this is going to be a quick and dirty summary, really, of what's going on. Going to bring up the actual drawing tool. The turn is not done yet. The reason being, there's a few things I do want to double check, but I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown, a quick synopsis, if you will, of what is actually going on. There's a few things that we are doing here to react to the American carriers. There's a few things as well that need to be discussed prior to that. I do not have a tremendous amount of time at the moment, so I'm going to do this in as quick as I can, which is usually going to be about 20 minutes anyway. So yes, what is going to be happening over here at Luzon? Now, we do have the 48th Division in position. We also do have the 65th Brigade in position as well. What we are going to do is actually await the... Well, the 2nd Division is unloading at this moment in time. We do have elements of the 2nd Division unloading here as well. They will then head back to the cow. So that will bring the 2nd Division... a good chunk of the 2nd Division is on the island of Luzon, but not entirely yet. Now, I do have the 21st Division, which is heading down to San Fernando. They will unload over here by San Fernando. What I will do is, more than likely, once they reach this position here, and the 2nd Division has finished unloading progress, well, they're unloading, we will unload across these ports over here, and ideally Lingayen if we can as well. Now, and that's going to be quite important. The thing that we have to bear in mind in here is we have delayed a few days, and I think that is worthwhile. We did actually fortify this position to level 2. The reason being, it gives us a good position of strength from which we can actually push out from, and that's the thing that we really want there. And so the 48th Division will be moving south towards Lingayen. Now, what I am going to do is actually hold on to the engineers over here. As far as it goes for the artillery, I'm going to hold on to it and keep it in reserve for the time being. What I'm going to do here then, I might have the artillery go out in front, I'm not decided as of yet. But what I'm hoping to do is actually hold the engineers and artillery in reserve until we actually do get Bataan. I want us to have all the support units fresh, because at this moment in time, he's probably... I don't imagine it's going to be too far away from level 3 fortifications, I'd imagine. It is going to be a very fortified hellhole, but we will break it, but it will be easier done if we have the engineers available. And the good news is, I'm going to quickly talk about what we're doing over here. Now, I've divided the actual detachment into 3 over here, and this is quite important. Something that we do have to bear in mind is, what he could do is he could march north from Johor Bahru and south of Malacca, and he would take control of both sides of the road over here, and then be able to move forces up and down without issue. Obviously, we could attack, but it still would be able to make progress, which is it is something that we have to bear in mind as a potential threat, and something that we will take into account and deal with. What I'm doing here to actually deal with this is split the detachment into 3, so the division into 3, I should say. Now, they're all going to move south to Johor Bahru today, but 1 tomorrow will be put into combat mode, which means that they'll move 30 today, 15 the day after, and then what we'll do, if there's nothing that's actually heading south, and by that time it is actually imagined the 4th Division will be in position here as well, then I'll have the division that remains behind, probably the C detachment, or whichever detachment doesn't make a tremendous amount of difference. The actual detachment that was remaining behind will obviously stay in combat mode. The 2 detachments of the division that arrived at Johor Bahru could be then set to a deliberate attack. So what would then happen is all 3 elements of the division would arrive to attack. So it could be, imagine that by the 23rd of December we will be attacking Johor Bahru, which is a level 1, level 2 fortification, potentially, maybe more, maybe less, but I imagine around about level 2 fortification. It starts as level 1, it could be level 2, but it depends really what he's doing there. So that is what will happen. Now, there is an alternative. If we move on to Johor Bahru, or if we are moving south to Johor Bahru and he does not begin to march out, then what we'll do then is wait until the 24th of December, reform the 33rd Division in full, and then attack as a unified division, which obviously will make it stronger, which would be ideal. We do have the Imperial Guard Division. That is over here at Kota Bahru. It will finish loading up today and begin to make its way down here south towards Mersing this turn, ideally. I am using 4 light cruisers over here then to actually transfer the 25th Army over here towards Mersing. Frankly, there's a lot of things that need to be transferred, and there's a lot of shipping that's going to go through here. we didn't have an airstrike against Singapore last turn due to the weather, but we are sending K-48s, we are sending obviously the Nates as escorts, the 43-1Bs are still running escort over the amphibious forces over here. We are sending out the Sallies once again. Now at least they did actually gain a little bit of time to rest here, so that's quite nice. These guys are set to sweep, but not. Okay, so the 43-1Bs, sorry, yes, IB-1B, whatever you want to call it. That's at Kuantan, so we'll shift it down there to join the rest of the unit at Kuantan. There we go. Excellent. Okay, so what I'm doing over here then is I'm moving the armoured regiment out. So, the 14th Tank Regiment will move to this position here. We're going to wait these forces over here to arrive. These forces are closing in on a low star. There's about 200 AV here at a low star. So we do need to make sure it cannot escape. That's the important thing. There's 200 AV here. There's 100 AV here at Taiping. So that's something to bear in mind. The 42nd Infantry Regiment, at least this element of it, is going to remain here at Georgetown to actually rest and recuperate, but also act as the garrison here, which is useful enough. It's useful enough. It will become an important base in the future, but it's nice that there is a little bit of heavy industry there. It's nice. It adds to our resources, really. We're moving the 3rd Air Division towards Bangkok. So what I'm going to do then is, let's see, we're still sweeping over here at Singapore. Once it comes down to it, well, this is it. I imagine after the large bombing raid, potentially today, he may look towards pulling out. But the interesting thing is, bear in mind, we do not have great detection over Singapore right now. But it is interesting to see that we do have a reported 13 damage to his airfield, so perhaps we did cause more damage than we actually previously thought, which is interesting. But indeed, what we will have to do then is continue to hit it and hit it and hit it and hit it. But this will get easier as time goes on. We will never stop escorting, but it will get easier as time goes on, as he will have to capitulate the airfields at some point. We do have the force over here, which I'm trying to actually intercept, so we are sending subs out to try and do so. We decided to go ahead and send this one this way, trying to set things moving that way, which is a good idea. And we're running naval search here, we're running naval search over here at Bangkok. What we are doing, and which is something that is quite interesting, not particularly this, but I'm going to show you this anyway. I run an 80% cap over here, range 0, 10,000 feet, with 80% of the group of the 3rd KUS 0 group. There are additional assets moving in. There's an AV moving in, an AS, and a subchase as well. We're still clearing the mines from Palembang, so that will be good. Now, what I'm going to do then, due to the nature of the build-up of bombers over here at Batavia, he's likely to consider attacking Palembang in the next turn with that air power, I'd imagine. But what we're going to do is actually launch a preemptive strike against him at Batavia as well. So we are sending the 15 A6M2s of the Tainan KUS-1C to escort the 1st KUK-1 at 70%. So only 30% of the actual squadron is going out there on an airfield attack mission at 10,000 feet. What we're going to try and do is essentially turn the pressure upon him. If he does not attack Palembang, then, well, we're going to go to Batavia, and we're going to hit him at Batavia. Now, the interesting thing is there are a few ships over here. There indeed are a few ships. Something that we are considering is after Palembang is properly secured from the air, we can actually project power out here. We're actually going to consider using the heavy cruisers to bombard Batavia and actually hit the airfield there. That's something to take into consideration. A quick strike in, quick strike out. There is a worry about these forces over here, but we'll see. As we do actually build up the amount of naval search that we have here as well, and try and obviously have torpedo capability here at Palembang. That will give us more. I do have the 2 transport aircraft squadrons over here. They're flying over to engineering regiments to Palembang to further increase our aviation support. We have the 2 AOs over here refueling. So they're going to actually fill up on fuel and then head out this way to support operations. We have an APD that's instead going to head to Tay. The reason is it gives us another airfield to work with there. It means I can transfer the K-44s from Luzon to Tay to Jolo to Manado, to Manado to Kendari or to Makassar. Another thing we are doing is I'm sending obviously a lot more ASW out this way. He's been ferocious in his activities, absolutely ferocious. Now, I was going to send this towards Benjamin, whatever you want to say, but I think what I will do is have this actually unload here. Now, we do have a size 4 port, which is nice. What I'm going to do is actually set up a ASW task force. I did consider this, but it doesn't really serve me a purpose right now, because if I don't have engineers to move in here, it's not really worth it. So we are going to take that into consideration and not potentially throw them into the meat grinder, really. Right, we are going to try and look after ourselves here, though. He's been rather ferocious at Megasar, which is pretty rough on us, to be honest. So there, Doctor. We'll take the rest of these patrol boats here as well. These are very nice. That'll give us 8 patrol boats in total then working. These 14 knot and Soyuz are really good for that as well. Oof, my time is running out. I do not have too much longer here, but I'll try and get as much done. Yeah, the turn is not going to be sent off immediately after the video. There's still things that I want to tweak. And obviously, you guys will be wondering, well, what's going to happen with the carriers? Well, you'll see shortly. You will see, my friends. I'm also going to try and lay a minefield here. Whether that works or not is another one. It didn't lay the minefield at Kandara for some reason. So, these forces are going to stay in Megasar. These forces aren't going to remain here in Megasar. It makes sense. It makes sense. We'll hold on. These bases are good, but we want to secure BLeAcHACiD and Samarinda, and obviously these bases here. And the good news is about securing Palembang is, well, we will be able to move south towards Ustavan. What I'm actually doing here is I'm going to send a Naval Guard unit to Jijambe. 2 Naval Guard units go across the river over here to have the hell you pronounce that, to crush that unit. 1 Naval Guard unit will then proceed over here to Benkoelen. Another Naval Guard unit will then proceed down to Ustavan. We have the 144th Regiment, which is going to head down here to Palembang, and then we'll proceed down here to Ustavan to actually help secure the base there. Now, we're looking to secure this area as much as possible. As I mentioned, or I can't remember if I mentioned, I'm going to fly the 5th Air Division via transport aircraft, which I moved over here. So these Valiers are actually going to be going ahead and transferring them over here to Megasar. Kandari is not really of much use right now as an airbase, so we're going to actually push that up to Megasar, which is good. And the good news is we do have a bunch of supply that will be unloaded over here, which is going to be very, very important for us. So looking forward to that. Now, I'm going to increase the level of cap over here to 80-20. Lower it down, set it over Megasar. And there we go. As far as it goes, there aren't that many dangers in this area right now, which is very handy. So, that's interesting. Looks like they can't... Oh, they need more torpedoes then. Okay, so they did use a lot of torpedoes today then, it seems. Just put more torpedoes in there then. Manually. Right, there we go. Yep. And what we're going to do as well is, in time, I'm going to... Well, not too long from now, we're going to bring the Ki-48s at Luzon, bring them down over here to Kandari. They're then going to proceed to pound Ambon's airfield into destruction, really. Well, into dust, really, as much as possible. So, yeah, things are underway. Things are underway. I'm sending ASW forces out there. We're trying to get the things unloaded here. Trying to keep everything safe. The big difference in what we're doing here at the moment is... so the subs are headed out this way. We have gone ahead and altered these patterns. We did go ahead and actually split this up as well, which is good. I'm going to set these destroys 2 reactors as a small amendment here. The reason being there's still an oiler in this area, so I would like to try and deal with that. But we're sending them back up north here. But we're going to send them along this path over here so that they will actually try to intercept these forces as well, which is good. We're going to continue to hunt over here. They will, of course, react to this and ideally sink these ships over here as well. We did sink the Dutch light cruisers over here at the cost of one of our own destroyers, and that was an email there, scared the hell out of me. So we did sink the Dutch light cruisers over here. But those destroyers are still a threat, but they're not a tremendous threat. What we're doing here with the MKB is we're actually changing the way which we move. As far as it goes, I'm not going to look towards returning towards Kandari. We're going to be quite aggressive. We're going to be pushing out this way. The reason is we're going to be looking for the actual shipping in this area. We're going to try and just track it down and destroy it, really. There isn't much in the way of a threat to the MKB, so that's what we're doing. This group with the Fuso and Yamashiro is going to continue to follow. Mutsu and Hyoga do need to return to Kandara to rearm. What we'll end up doing then is once the actual submarine situation does somewhat calm down to an extent, is we'll use the battleships to bombard Ambon. And also just use it for security of the area, really. These assets are moving back. These APDs will be very handy, in fact. So what I'm going to do then is grab the APDs. Fuji and Haji. Malhagi. And then we can use them to actually pick up a Naval Guard unit and take Denpasar via that method. Okay, I'm actually going to set them to an ASW. There we go. So at least they will contribute to the defenses over here as well, which is nice. It's a difficult one. He's not a daft cookie. He's not a daft cookie. He knows how to use his subs, and it is pretty ferocious. Indeed. DMSs will hopefully act as escorts. We will need more DMSs as well. I'm sending the DMSs from Hong Kong down towards Kuantan so we can actually demine Singapore in the future. We're still demining Palembang. The 38th Division will be shifted over here to Luzon as well, moving construction units from over here and over here down this area. I'm sending 2 paratrooper units towards Chumphon. We'll have to pick up the rest of the paratroopers, but they're going to move over here to then be used to take Port Blair. Okay, now something to note, you may notice that there's no H6K4s over here, which is intriguing. I'm going to dock these guys up and actually take the destroyers. Let's see, I can send them as an ASW force. Well, then I could send them out there. Yeah, they do have ammunition. I'll send them out that way to actually go ahead and continue to hunt the forces there. Then what I can do is actually send them back to Kendari to go and run ASW. But I'll send them out that way. It makes use of the additional assets that we have here, so I don't need them here right now. But we're going to continue to unload here with the 23rd Air Flotilla. But you may notice that the H6K4s have gone, and the reason for that, and this is the reaction we're trying to place. I do... Well, me and Infinite Monkey spoke a long time last night. We kind of feel like he maybe tried to hunt the Kidapati, and it sounds kind of crazy, and we'll go into it at greater length in the future. But that is the kind of feeling that we're running on here at the moment, which is intriguing. It's one of these of him. He knew that the KEB, he knew the Kidapati was south of Wake Island. What leads me to think that he's actually trying to hunt the KB is, so bear in mind that the convoy was moving along this path, wasn't it? It's not outside the realms of possibility to imagine that KB might have been behind it, obviously due to the long-range combat air patrol, which would explain why he would move into such a position like that. So see, we could be here and still be well within range. In fact, we were on this side, which is interesting because obviously we moved that way, he moved that way. Now, what we have gone ahead and done is we've refueled at sea to actually get the fuel across into the other ships, which means that we can only move about 2 hexes this turn. So what we're going to do then is move south, and the reason why is if I draw a quick rough line like that, it's hard to say what he will do. There's a part of me, a good part of me, that thinks he's actually looking towards combat, but bear this in mind. So let's say over here he moves, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. It's hard to obviously do this with the lines, but let's say we're in that position again, so 1, 2, well actually 6 including that hex, so 3, 4, 5, 6. So what I'm thinking here is we move south, southwest. It puts us a little bit closer to our own fuel sources, and if he does indeed decide to come to battle, then we will take it. I do think he's very likely to do so. I've detached the battleships on 2 destroyers. I may amend things over here as well. That's a thing to bear in mind. This is still subject to change. I've set a reaction for the carrier group so they will move as well, which is nice. They'll get an extra movement. But what I've gone ahead and done at the moment, now bear in mind this is definitely still subject to change, is the actual groups of Kates, like the 27 groups of Kates, what I've done is actually broken them up and taken a group of 9 from each of those and set those guys to 100% naval search. Those guys are still on naval attack. I'm going to set them to naval search. There we go. There we go. Yep. There we go. You can see that the 18-1 is still 10-10, just to make sure that group has some ability to find targets. But we have then 4 groups of 9, or 4 detachments of 9 running 100% naval search. The reason why I'm doing that is, well, we can run that out. I'm going to run that 8,000 feet. We can run that out at 9 hexes, which makes a big difference. It's like these guys are 16 hexes away, but if they move towards us, then obviously we'll hopefully have some detection. We have the H6K4s over here. That's still running. Now there's a pilot missing here. And for some reason we can't add a pilot, which is really, really bizarre. Really quite annoying in all honesty. But we're going to continue to run naval search out from that position there, which you can see here, the Kilgore is 24 hexes. So that does give us naval search out this way, 15 only there. What I've gone ahead and done, and this did take a while, is I've taken all the actual low-value ships, just really all the cargo ships over here, and I'm going to send them out over here. Now, these might be changed, but this is just, it's sort of like a bit of a wall. It's something to cause some problems, and it's also something that will, and this is the thing as well, I'm thinking if he does move this way, that still has targets that would be in range, which, in this case, it's actually a good thing. Each sortie that would cost him, each torpedo that would cost him is a good thing. It also builds up his fatigue. Frankly, it's an interesting one. We couldn't really decide what he's actually going to be doing. You could effectively throw a dice and try and guess really on the outcome just as easily. So I'm going with the assumption, and due to that we have had to refuel, that's fine. I'm also moving these patrol boats down this way to Twangi. These destroyers are going to be set to retire to base, which means they will move at only 1 hex per turn, but at least they will move. Obviously, once things settle down over here, then we will move out ships to actually refuel them, get them moving faster, but for the time being, they'll still move. They also will act as almost like a tripwire, essentially. We are keeping these submarines more or less in position over here in the north, in case he does in fact go north, which is why we're sending a sub. This sub's actually heading north on a theorized position. So, we are doing all that we can, really. Another response of which we are doing is the H6K4s over here are going to be set to 40% naval search. It's an issue due to the low-level moonlight. But what we're going to do here is actually have these guys set to naval attack, because this is one of the things that we have as a long-reaching potential offensive weapon. And bear in mind, each of these guys do carry 2 torpedoes. So we're going to have them. They're going to be going out there 6,000 feet. They're going to be looking for the enemy. A good chunk of them will be on search, but obviously then that does go to the night naval search, which is handy. So we could potentially track him during the night. You take a look at his 15 from that point. If you move this way, he's 15. If he moves this way, he's 18. So we still have a potential to attack him along this line if he actually does move this way. And then if he does move this way, Kilgore could potentially get involved. So we've never had a successful night attack, but it doesn't mean it will not ever happen. We have to believe, really, essentially. What we're doing as well is we're going to have the G3M2s actually run a night naval strike as well themselves. But then the other 2 G3s that weren't at Marcus are going to be running 100% naval search in the daytime and extended range, and to try and verify targets. Now, I managed to find 9 A5M4 Claudes over here to run cap, as well as some others, though the H6K4s there are from Kopang, but they're going to be running the naval search out there for us. We do have a total of 46 A5M4s over here. 42 are currently ready. We're going to have them shifted there. The engineers are actually going to be moving this way. One engineer unit is going to be moved to LA, so it actually allows us to transfer things. But we'll try and get about 50 or so A5M4s into truck bank tomorrow. It's going to be interesting, but essentially we are just vacating the area. These assets are still going to move south. These assets are going to move this way into the actual cloud of crap. Try it with the chaff, really. In this area, I move in a lot of assets of the AS, AD, AV, ACM, cruiser mine layer, to Rabaul. The tanker as well is going to move to Rabaul and unload there at Rabaul. We're just trying to get things offloaded, try and get things shifted to where they need to be, and the worst case scenario is we will run through the Torres Strait. That is the worst case scenario. That is the absolute worst case scenario. So we'll have to hope it does not in fact come to that. Okay, they are set to naval attack, which is good. They're running hot there. Okay. Right, there we go. So at least we are keeping an eye on the area with our own Jakes over here. But yeah, we're just trying to... I mean, this is a thing. We need to continue as we are going on over here. Which is one of these things of, like, he may not move this way. It's unknown at this point in time. But that is more or less what is going on. And the good news as well is, since I actually bought out the air division from Manchuria, that allowed us to actually move out the vast majority of air power from Manchuria, which is very nice. So it's like, for example, in Japan, if we take a look, we have a lot more crap, but we have a lot more of it. Like, you see here there's 119 fighters there. I mean, it's all A5s and K-27s, but it's still 119. Over here at Tokyo, we have 290 Ki-27s. That's 290 Ki-27s. I don't care if they're crap, you know what I mean? You're not gonna... You're gonna find it hard to get through that much. It's like trying to swim through, like, chocolate fondue. You're just gonna come out messy, really. No matter how sweet the taste. So yeah, that's kind of a quick and dirty synopsis of what's going on there. Indeed, we will try to achieve victory at Singapore. The good news is, if we achieve a quick and dirty victory at Singapore, then all the actual engineer regiments can be then shifted over to Luzon to help crack the nut that is Bataan. So, Tano Haka Banzai, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and read out my list of lovely patrons, and then I'm going to have to call the video to an end. Thankfully, I have been able to run this one, 25 minutes, that's not too bad. Been able to run this one pretty tight, so that's really good. But indeed, is looking very interesting to come in a short time. Also, that is a copyrighted piece of music, of which I'm going to have to move. There we go. So thank you to my lovely patrons. So thank you there, Alex Diligent. Well, Diligent Gravy, thank you very much there, my friend. Mr. Baines, BLeAcHACiD, Deepak Duck, Dingo Bat 4, Eric Wild, Eric Justo, Fun4123, thank you very much there, my newest patron, thank you so very much. George Kilgore, Gregory VanHouten, Iceycrome, Imperator Thrawn, James Lindsay, Lord Luba, Mark Tolson, Paradigm Blue, Paul Sanders, Raphael, Richard Hopper, Rick Chambers, Ricky Blinson, Sam, Spacht, SunYan, Talon1DE, The Forgotten, Thunder, and Lindholm. Thank you so much for that, ladies and gentlemen. It's much appreciated. You guys definitely do help to make this continually worth it. And it is going to be an interesting turn to come. As I said, a lot of this is still going to be reviewed, and there might be some minor changes. But I do feel that we can't continue with the mindset of, yes, we are the only hunter. I think we have to recognize the fact that Dadman may in fact see himself as the hunter as well, and potentially us as the hunted. But yes, we've done all that we can. I'm going to be sending ships out over here as well to try and shield the area as much as possible. I was going to try and then move some ships out this way to try and get fuel out there. But it will be interesting. It will be very interesting. So thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I hope to see you again in the future. So, Tano Haika Banzai, and Ayasumi Nasai. Goodbye for now.